Okay, so I haven't been on this channel in a while, and that's for a multitude of reasons, but this video is exactly one of the reasons why I haven't uploaded in such a long time. And I just didn't know how the hell was I going to tackle the greed and mediocrity of modern gaming today. But I think I figured it out. Let's talk about it.
Oh my God. Baby, oh my gosh, baby, the way she makes me.
Gaming has evolved a lot since the days of my childhood, and I can remember like it was yesterday, a little me being introduced to platforms like the Sega Genesis, N64, Game Boy, and PlayStation 1. I have loved games for pretty much my entire life. It's undoubtedly my favorite type of escapism for me. There's nothing more satisfying than turning your brain off for a couple of hours and enjoying a video game. But for the past few years, I have been having an interesting feeling when I play. Every now and then, I find myself thinking to myself, wow, I am not having that much fun with gaming like I used to. Not to say that I'm not enjoying gaming at all. It's more so the consistency of enjoyment from game to game has diminished greatly, which I can acknowledge is a bit of a contradiction. I say it's a contradiction because gaming is more faster, bigger, and shinier than it's ever been. Gaming technology has jumped tremendously in a short span of time. Household consoles are reaching PC levels of performance. Pixels of people and environments are more alive and lifelike than we could ever imagine how games could look and feel. Eventually, soon discs are going to be completely obsolete and games will be fully digital items. And for all my people that love going to the store and buying your games, that's a reality you're just gonna have to accept, my guy, because that's absolutely where things are going. Video games have come a long way. So much so, it's legitimately a billion-dollar industry. But with all these grand advancements into the future, somehow the modern gaming experience today feels more lonely and colder than it ever has before. Gaming culture is in a weird place. I think it's safe to say it's tough being a gamer in 2023 going into 2024. Not only this hobby we love so much is becoming a very expensive habit to keep up with, it's filled with more disappointment for us, the consumers. While gaming companies' profit margins are at an all-time high, the quality of gaming releases have hit an all-time low. The relationship between publishers, studios, and the gaming community has become gross to a point where they are just straight up lying to us, my guy, about their games being finished. I mean, marketing heavily anticipated games as finished products, but in all actuality, we are receiving buggy, unfinished versions that damn near still feels like these games are still in an alpha stage. Games like Cyberpunk 2077, No Man's Sky, and we can't forget the glorious fuck you from Bethesda that was Fallout 76. I mean, like, need I say more about that?
To replace your camp. However, hello?
Ahora no. No. Está nadando. Está nadando, yo estoy bien.
¿En serio?
Oi, reparei mais um.
Oi. Acabou? Não. Foi. Foi ela.
Like, the list of flop games over the last decade and a half is extensive. It's so bad. Pre-ordering a game these days is like a sick, disgusting game of Russian roulette with your wallet. You really don't know if you're paying for a fully finished game or not. It's just like the fun has been drained out of gaming. At least that's how I feel. Not to say that there's not a game or two that comes around every now and then and are absolute bangers, but the frequency is very few and far between. And with all that said, it makes me wonder, how did gaming lose its way? How did the gaming industry forget how to be fun? I know the obvious answer is probably money, but I mean, then this video would be like two seconds, right? I do truly believe that the era I grew up in was the last great era of not only video games, but just overall entertainment in general. If you had the pleasure of being born anywhere in the 90s, even late 80s, you really had the privilege of growing up in the heart of the biggest boom years for gaming. Getting to experience console releases in real time during the 2000s and the 2010s. The original Xbox, PlayStation 2, Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo Wii, Xbox 360, and PS3. And on the handheld side, every single Game Boy from first gen up to the introduction of the Nintendo DS. And we can't forget the PSP, right? Now, some of you are potentially wondering why I didn't mention the PS4 and Xbox One. We will, okay, we will get to that because they were great, all right? They were great, but they belong in another section of this video. But yes, this was the golden era of games. I dare anybody to argue with me, I'll fight you. I mean, it was peak gaming, my guy. Okay, peak gaming. The endless options of games that came out during this time period was fire. It's so many of them, it's no way that I could possibly name them all, but my personal favorites though, okay? Here's a list, get ready. Like the OG Star Wars Battlefront series, or really any of the old Star Wars games that were out at the time. The OG Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2, Need for Speed Most Wanted, Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, NFL and NBA Street, the Dragon Ball Budokai games, Halo, the OG God of War series, Spider-Man 2, the Grand Theft Auto series, and if you're a real one, you remember the Matrix games and Max Payne. I mean, I could go all day with this, truly, and that's just a small portion of the PS2 and Xbox era. Xbox 360 and PS3 deep game catalogs was great also. Obviously, Call of Duty had its best years that console generation, we all know that. This video would honestly have been like an hour plus long if I wanted to include a deep dive into each generation's game runs. Could be its own video, I don't know, maybe one of these days. But the greatest of these boom years wasn't just in the game titles. We got introduced to online gaming in the process for console gamers. Now, pre-360 and PS3, was it as seamless and smooth like it is today? No, obviously not.
I've got to get this at my house. How do you do it?
All about broadband, my man. You got to have a high-speed internet service.
Like DSL or cable?
Exactly. You're learning much, Grasshopper.
Yeah, that was high speed for the time, like in 2001. Like today, that honestly wouldn't even go for the lowest package offered by an internet provider these days. But the experience was infinitely better than today's lobbies. This was a simple time when everybody wasn't soft like a 10-pack of Charmin tissue paper and knew how to take a joke, okay? People actually wanted to speak on their cheap microphone that came with their console.
And I caved it, and I tagged that like, hey mom, I played with my dick today. Nobody cares. It's not a feat. Anyone can do that. You find someone's tax insertion, you wait from the spawn, then you fill them how the fuck you want. Whoopsie fucking do. Dude, you and 9 and 23. You talk shit like a loser. I thought you just won. You're talking shit like a little bitch.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. Not like today, okay? Not like today where everybody just hides in party chats or have their headset on, mic muted. Now, am I condoning all of the old lobby behavior? No, I'm not. Sometimes you run into somebody who's just a little too unhinged, right? But I'm also not some ginormous titty baby that likes to use the report button just because somebody called me a name on a video game. I'm just going to tell you, go fuck yourself and jump off a bridge. But again, I'm from a different time of gaming where there was no report button or comms bans. You had to learn how to have comebacks and be built different, my guy, okay? But besides the toxic back and forth in lobbies, there also was plenty of great gamer friendships that have come from everyone's willingness to want to meet and speak to others. I mean, I got guys on my friend list on Xbox I've been gaming with for like 10 years. People I've met just being in a public lobby because somebody said something funny, or just being really goofy, or you just being cool and you chilling and having a chill gaming session. And we've talked about everything over the years, sports, family, or just life in general. And that's what I miss the most, meeting new outrageous people and personalities while playing my favorite games. And with that being said, I would be doing this video a ginormous disservice if I didn't mention the local play aspect of the gaming experience back in this time. Oh my God, man. Wow. I have so many memories, bro. Having to physically go and play games with your friends was honestly the best. Whether you were there to 1v1 or to co-op a game, that's something kids today really don't experience as much like the people from my generation used to, because the gaming industry doesn't make their games to support local play as much. And you know, that's why this was the golden age of games, man. The gamer experience. That's what makes it the golden age. That's why I call it that. That's why I say it's the last great era of gaming, because the experience was top tier and maxed out. No, we didn't have 600 megabytes per second download speed and 120 FPS graphics, but what this time period had was developers making games and consoles to provide an innovative experience for the gamer. They actually gave a fuck about the product that they were making, and it shows in the volume and quality of game releases over this about decade and a half. And I'm saying it was perfect? No, I'm not saying it's perfect. Now, of course, there was more good games than bad ones, but sadly, can't really say that about the 2010s. Okay, let's go ahead and discuss this bullshit. Now, remember when I said PS4 and Xbox One belonged in another part of this video? Yeah, we gotta be a little objective and honest about this particular era of gaming. As much as I enjoyed my PS4, especially at the fact I was 19 at the time, I was working at Domino's Pizza, busting my whole shit to get the money for a PS4, and not to mention the countless bidding wars I had to get into to get one off of eBay. It made the console mean so much more to me. And let's be clear, the first couple of years on PS4 and Xbox One was fantastic. I mean, getting a hold of that sweet 1080p 60 FPS at the time, and even Microsoft's big mistake of making the day one Xbox One only 720p was still an upgrade. Games were looking night and day compared to their predecessors on 360 and PS3, but at this point there was a lot of things that were changing. Not only how games were made, but also the world was changing drastically. Towards the end of last gen's life cycle, microtransactions started to appear more integrated into console games. Not that microtransactions were anything new, Bethesda was the first to do that back in 2006, and EA followed suit with FIFA's Ultimate Team. And with the internet evolving at the time, and companies started to discover and figure out how they could make profit off of games after the initial release, microtransactions started getting more aggressively put into the forefront of major AAA games. Whether it was Call of Duty with their DLC maps and exclusive skins, EA with its Ultimate Team mode, like I said, in sports games. I remember exactly when VC appeared in NBA 2K. It was NBA 2K13. That was the culprit. For the first time ever, You could buy your My Player to a 99 overall with just about $20 worth of VC, which is definitely a fraction of how much it costs today to get your player to a 99. It's Jesus Christ, I don't even, oh God, my PTSD is starting to come out. Okay, I had to gather myself, but My Team mode was also introduced in the same game by no coincidence, and obviously 2K was copying EA's model of a fantasy mode so they can capitalize on maximizing profit into their game releases, you know, to keep encouraging them to make those yearly releases. So it is safe to say, roughly around 2012 to 2014, game companies weren't shy about making exclusive items be only behind a paywall, or just damn near making their games pay to win, if we're just gonna be like keeping it a buck. But seriously encouraging to take the shortcuts to access every single aspect of their games with just simply putting in your credit card information. And the gaming community welcomed the new addition. And of course, it wasn't instantaneous. I mean, it was definitely a year of spoon feeding little by little, because of course gamers were repulsed by the idea of not grinding for exclusive items or a high level in a game. Gaming at its core is about the grind, about the journey of earning everything a game has to offer. But if you told somebody that there is a faster way to get that OP weapon that kills in one hit, and it will give them an unstoppable edge over the competition online, I mean, 9 times out of 10, that person is going to take the easy way. And gamers over the course of the 2010s have shown time and time again that's exactly what we want to do. And with this silent agreement between the community and the companies, gaming culture shifted forever and for the worse. During this time, we've seen gaming go from passion to corporate. Every game designed to see how much money can it get out of its respective player bases, microtransactions evolved into other ugly monsters, like the introduction of loot boxes. And holy shit, did we get subjected to some of the most aggressive and just disgusting business practices during the loot box era. And of course, EA being the worst of them all. I know you remember the infamous Battlefront 2 controversy. EA timed progression into their loot box system so hard and so shamelessly, they literally had to backtrack and change the entire game. I mean, they even put Darth Vader behind a paywall. That is crazy. Honestly, EA was going crazy, let's just be honest, with their gross business practices, so much so that they were being sued over FIFA Ultimate Team. I'll take it even further. You had some games be accused of promoting gambling habits to kids with some of the mechanics of how the whole loot box systems were even set up. And as somebody who played these games, I can definitely tell you that they are gambling inspired. But now today, we're in the third wave of fuck you pay me with battle passes and seasons. So yeah, even though last gen started off very promising, the truth is those consoles supported gaming's downward spiral into perpetual mediocrity that we know today, and has given these now multi-billion-dollar corporations room for their greed to grow out of control, and has created unbreakable monopolies that honestly has ruined gaming for today. So games are not made for fun anymore. They're not made for the gamer's enjoyment. It's not made for the gamer experience as whatsoever. Video games today are nothing but corporate tools for gaming companies to maximize their profits and to jerk off their freaking shareholders, because that's all they give a fuck about is their shareholders. They could care less about the gaming community, and it's a sad reality to live in. And who is to blame for the fact that we've gotten here? I mean, the only person that we can point at is us, the community, us, the consumer. I mean, like I said, in the 2010s, we have shown that if you gave us a shortcut, we was gonna take it. And people have taken it time and time again to the point to where now here we are stuck in a never-ending cycle of complaining about broken unfinished games that are at a $70+ price tag. Yeah, it sucks being a gamer in 2023 going into 2024.